knowledge, we're well into a production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I was given the task of presenting the music to our music majors to do a little analysis of the songs. And I had enough fun doing that I thought I would present this to a larger audience. We're going to put this in 3 parts. The first one, we're going to listen to some recordings of commercial versions of some of the songs. And in the second one, we'll talk a little bit more about the musical structure of the songs. I'll play some of the melodies and chord progressions and such. And then the third one, we're going to have some fun and do some what-ifs. What if certain people had written songs for other shows? Well, Joseph has been around since 1968. It was Andrew Lloyd Webber's first show, done with Tim Rice doing the words. It was a very short version at first. It was only about 20 minutes long. It was done at a school, and they made a recording, released that in 68 or 69, and published this version of it in 69. Made it available for schools. It's very simple. There's only one solo line plus a possible backup chorus, but most of the songs of the final show are there. It was popular enough that they expanded it and expanded it. It made it to theater, it made it to the West End of London, it made it to Broadway, it made it to film, and it's been going strong ever since. And I couldn't find an exact number, but somewhere between 20 and 25,000 productions of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat have been staged. That's not performances, that's productions, so that's a lot of shows. Done by the most successful stage musical composer of our time, composer of Phantom of the Opera, which has made mountains of money and has set records in both London and New York. Well, looking at Joseph, this show, I think, is successful because it works well with kids in the audience and with kids on the stage. It has the kind of simplicity that allows them to learn the parts quickly and to appreciate the songs. The type of repetition that I see also, well, looking at it as an accompanist, as a pit musician, as a music theorist, music theory professor, I find a little bit limiting, or maybe I should say very limiting. And it doesn't make me a real great fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber. Well, we'll talk about some of those things, mostly in the second part of this presentation. The things that make this show work well, they might be the parodies. You see, there are about 25 songs in the whole score. Here is the score as we're using it. It's a couple hundred pages, 250 pages, about 25 songs. This includes a lot of reprises. Roughly half of those are reprises. But more than a quarter of them are parodies of other styles, and done pretty well. They're kind of fun. The first one is, of all things, country western. And I think Lloyd Webber got this style pretty well. This is the sons of Jacob coming to tell him the bad news.
Father, it's something to tell you, a story of our time, a tragic but inspiring tale of manhood in its prime. You know you had a dozen sons, well now that's not quite true.
For the sake of humor, the use of these parodies is very effective because they are so ridiculous. Ridiculous in a positive sense, something that allows us to really chuckle at this. And the cast has a great fun on stage too. The second parody is from the 20s. It is based on the Charleston. Spotify. Again, I think that he caught that style quite well. The funniest of all, probably the best known, is where he borrows the style from the 1950s, 50s early rock music, and the music of Elvis Presley.
Well, bless my soul, what's wrong with me? I met you like a man on a fuzzy tree.
Sorry, that's the real Elvis.
I'm all shook up.
Well, let's try another track.
When I walk through that door, baby, won't like.
Sorry, that's the real Elvis again.
If you don't treat me right.
Okay, I think the next track will be the right one. It's now Elvis is known as the King, but from the show, this is the Song of the King, Pharaoh.
Here we go.
I can guarantee that our cast members are having a great time with that song. We're going to listen to one more parody. This is from near the end of the show. It's called Calypso Benjamin. So it's based on the Calypso rhythm, the Calypso style from the Caribbean. And it always suggests to me a different song from a different show. And I think if you listen carefully, you can make out that other song. If you just give it a try, listen carefully. Yeah, they sure fit together, don't they? Well, let's listen to some of the original songs of Lloyd Webber. And in the second part of this presentation, I'm going to delve into some of the weaker aspects of his writing. But let's start out with the parts that are, I think, stronger. They're probably the more popular songs. For instance, the very first one, I think, not the exact opening song, but the first song sung by Joseph. It is Any Dream Will Do, and I think it's structurally works pretty well. The melody has nice intervals, a nice movement in it, and it's rather catchy.
I closed my eyes, drew back the curtain.
Nice part for the kids there. And something that is almost unique about this song within this show is that it sort of fits into the form of the traditional popular or Broadway song. It has a contrasting bridge section so that the song itself, it can be laid out as A prime, B, A. The A returning in a slightly varied form, A prime, and then we get the contrast with B and then a return to the beginning. A rounded form which has appealed to composers for centuries. Also, in a harmony, he uses some inversions of chords. That's not very common with most of his songs. He's stuck with root position chords nearly all the time. Another song, which is probably the best known, I think it's the best song in the show, is Close Every Door.
Close every door to me, hide all the world from me, bar all the windows and shut out the light. Do
It's in minor.
what you want,
Has some effective harmonies.
hate me.
They're simple at the beginning, just tonic and dominant.
Darken
But then here they start to change a bit.
and torture my night.
And of course the orchestration really helps. And the melody soars to a peak at this point. A feature which is unfortunately lacking in most of Lloyd Webber's songs in this show. And there are times when the added parts add a good deal. In Joseph's Coat, the sopranos have some added lines. First one line, then two lines. They work pretty well. This is sort of a descant, in fact.
I'm handsome, I'm smart, I am a walking work of art. Such a dazzling coat of many colors, how I love my coat of many colors.
It was red and yellow and green and brown.
That really sounds, that's gorgeous when it occurs and when it's well sung. It is fairly repetitious. The same suspension occurs, I think, about 16 times in the show, and it's that basic suspension that we've had since the Renaissance, where we have a note which carries over and then resolves. But it's quite effective, and it makes that moment sound really quite rich. Well, that's it for the recordings we're going to hear. In the next installment of this presentation, we'll look at some more specifics about melody and harmony and form.